spyxfamily has become one of the most beloved anime of 2022, but is it worth watching? What gives this show its allure, its sparkle, its charm? Well, those are the questions we are going to be answering today. Just a warning, there will be minor spoilers for the first 2 episodes in this video because it's really hard to talk about the show without spoiling anything. So without further ado, let's get into it. The basic plot of spyxfamily is there is a spy that needs to come in contact with a government official from another country, but the only way to do that is to meet him at a school function for his son. This means that the spy has to adopt a child that can attend this school. He adopts this pink-haired one that just happens to be telepathic. Yep, this spy on a super secret mission adopts a mind-reading child. He then needs to marry a woman so the family looks socially acceptable because the school his daughter has to go to is one of the best in the country and has some absurd entrance requirements. So he marries a lady that just happens to be an assassin. Yup, a spy, an assassin, and a telepath all under the same roof. As you can probably imagine, this character combination creates a lot of unique situations. I think this is one of the major draws of spyxfamily. It is just so absurd. Every episode yields a different bizarre obstacle to overcome, and it is usually overcome in an unexpected way. Now I know what you're thinking. Wow, that sounds kind of dumb and like it has a lot of convenient plot. And to answer you, yes, but also no. The show does a good job of setting up these situations and they are believable in the context of the show. Sometimes it's dealing with a bully or having an over-the-top fitness challenge. It never feels like an obstacle that comes out of left field. The solutions, on the other hand, can feel a bit convenient at times. Sometimes the teacher will just step in and end the conflict. Other times the problem will just go away on its own. While it could be argued that this is some sort of realism, I don't think it fits the show that well. Don't get me wrong, it's not like these convenient resolutions hurt the show too badly, but it is one of the few weak spots in my opinion. The next reason people like this show is, ow, dude, really? I'm in the middle of something. Oh, you want me to tell people to subscribe? Wow, I am so surprised. Look, guys, please subscribe so this button leaves me alone. He keeps bullying me because over 90% of my viewers are not subscribed. It's really easy to subscribe and it would really help me out since it might be the only way to get this guy to leave me alone. Anyway, the next reason people like this show is Anya. Anya is the child character in spyxfamily, and she is one of the few children in anime that I actually like. So often in anime, children feel like they're 5 to 10 years older than they actually are, and I find it just a little bit weird. This is not the case in spyxfamily. Anya is very obviously a 6-year-old. She is simultaneously very cute and kind of psychotic, which is the perfect characterization for her age. She has a warped sense of morals that only a 6-year-old could have, and they are not helped by her telepathic abilities. She also talks like a 6-year-old, often mispronouncing words and speaking with poor or incorrect grammar. She will also occasionally misinterpret a situation, which usually lands her in some pretty precarious situations. Even when Anya isn't the focus of a scene, she's doing something childlike in the background or making some interjections that are very much in character. These smaller details can make even the most mundane scenes entertaining, and they really add to Anya's character. The next major reason people watch this show is the comedy. Comedy in spyxfamily is easy to understand and fairly universal. It encompasses both the absurdity we mentioned earlier and Anya, as they both contribute to the comedy in this show. I'm sure you can already see why these aspects contribute to comedy, but it might be surprising to hear that every single character in this show is important to the comedy. Every single one. For instance, just the 3 main characters contribute to the comedy in very different ways. They each have a very different demeanor, from stoic and thoughtful, to a little bit more outwardly dumb, to Anya. These personalities, combined with the absurd situations they're put into, creates a unique and easy to understand type of comedy. Sometimes it's physical comedy, sometimes it's over the top, sometimes it's drunken, and sometimes it's just taking a situation too seriously. There's a wide variety of comedy in this show, and I guarantee almost everyone will find some aspect funny. And the final positive aspect of this show I want to talk about is the animation. spyxfamily is produced by WIT, and as such, its animation is top notch, which is kind of surprising considering it's not a show that needs intense animation. Like, it's literally about a girl going to kindergarten, but that doesn't stop WIT from putting their whole back into it. There are so many scenes that are made specifically by the attention to detail in the animation. I know we've talked about how Anya can make mundane scenes into interesting just by being in them, and the animation kind of does the same, as it is oftentimes impressive enough to add to the immersion. Everything from a chase scene to an interview has a high level of detail and immaculate execution. Before we get into some of the negatives of the show, there is one more thing I want to mention, which is regarding the pacing. This show is fairly episodic in nature. Pretty much every episode is an independent event that exists within an overarching story. Some people like this style of anime and some people do not, so I just wanted to bring it up as it is an aspect of the show that I noticed. Now it's time to get into some of the negatives. I don't have much to say about spyxfamily that is negative, but it does have one turnoff, and that one turnoff is incest. Yes, this anime does have some borderline incest in it. It only happens once, but it's still there, and it's a major turnoff for a lot of people, including myself. I very much enjoyed this show up until it happened, and then I was like, ew, and then it didn't happen again, so I kept watching. It's not that important to the plot anyway, so you could definitely skip that scene with very little consequence, but I did think it was important to mention for obvious reasons. The only other negative I have might be controversial. I believe, and this is entirely my opinion, that the soundtrack is mediocre at best. Now don't get me wrong, I don't expect every show to have like an Attack on Titan level of soundtrack, but the soundtrack of Spy Family does not even come close to matching the quality of the rest of the show. It is based around jazz, which fits the aesthetic of the show, but overall it feels uninspired and just kind of generic. There were only like 2 moments where I found the soundtrack really added to immersion and was drawing me into the show. The rest of the time, it was just kind of there. Soundtrack may not seem like an important aspect of anime, but it definitely is. It can be used to create any emotion, and oftentimes it sets the tone of a scene more than the visuals do. So having a weak soundtrack like this one is definitely a bit of a drawback in my opinion. Luckily, those are the only 2 drawbacks. So would I say that spyxfamily is worth watching? Yes. In a time where the majority of popular anime is emotionally traumatizing, spyxfamily is a beacon of serotonin. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the entire first season, besides the incest, and I would highly recommend you watch it now as the second season starts in 1 week, and then 1 week after that Chainsaw Man starts. Oh boy, it's gonna be a busy fall. Anyway, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, maybe leave a like. Be sure to join the Discord and maybe check out the Patreon as well, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week for another video.